Shri Ganesha Sharada Gurubhyo Namaha Agajanana Padmarkam Gajananam Aharnisham Anekadam Tam Bhaktanam Ekadantam Upasmahe. Welcome to all for this session on Ganesha Purana to chapter 76. From the previous chapters, we started hearing a new story in which Shurasena had witnessed the fall of Indra's divine vehicle from space onto the earth because of being glanced by a evil person. But then later, when he asked Indra for the reason, he told him that the only way that the aerial vehicle can lift up again back to heaven is because is only by the glance of someone who has got the benefit of doing Sankastahara Chaturthi vratha. And then Shurasena asked him for the details of the vratha and had got all the details in the form of Kritavirya's story, as well the speciality of Durva grass, and the speciality of performing Sankasta Chaturthi on a Tuesday known as Angaraka Chaturthi. And right in front of his eyes, he saw a Chandala woman being picked up by the heavenly messengers just because he had fasted on the day of Sankasta Chaturthi for not having food, and later begged for the food and got Ganesha Prasada and ate it after the rise of moon on a Sankasta Chaturthi day. And then he, by mistake, by somehow inadvertently, spontaneously, she muttered the name of Ganesha on that day, and because of that reason, she could able to attain salvation and reach the Ganesha Loka. While that Chandala woman is being picked up in the aerial vehicle, her glance fell on Indra's divine vehicle, and with the grace of that divine vehicle could able to rise, and with that, Indra and all the demigods could able to reach the heaven. And after witnessing the benefit of Sankasta Chaturthi Vrata, the king Shurasena himself was interested in doing it. So he invited his Kulaguru Vasista to his court. Brahma continued the story. Now that the king Shurasena had heard about and witnessed the power produced by the Sankasta Chaturthi Vrata, he resolved to perform it himself and spoke to Vasista, who is the greatest among all the sages. The king asked him, "Tell me the right moment for performing the Sankasta Chaturthi Vrata, as I want to perform this Vrata here and now as demonstration of its proof." Then Vasista told him, "O excellent king, in the dark half of the month of Magha, perform that Vrata of the highest quality, which brings every success and gives every desire." The extremely devout king and his wife had prepared the requisite material with the intention of beginning that vrata of the Sankasta Chaturthi, which is of the highest quality, when in just a short while the auspicious day prescribed by Vasista came, that is the Magha Krishnapaksha Chaturthi. Then, after he had taken a bath at daybreak, had performed the obligatory rituals, worshipped Ganesha, pronounced a benediction to the bulls of Brahmins, honored Vasista, received an assent from him, and placed his mind on Ganesha. He stood on one great toe until the sun went down, consciously muttering his names. In the evening, he once again quickly bathed, and after he had performed the evening rituals accompanied by Vasista, he began to appropriate the worship. He made a large pavilion adorned with columns of plantain wood, opulent with many ornaments and clothes, resplendent with umbrellas and chowries, shining with rows of mirrors decorated with flower garlands, containing many lustrous jewels and radiant with rows of lamps. In its mid, upon a golden pot, he set a golden image of Ganesha, charming in all of its beautiful limbs, shining with many ornaments and adorned with many jewels. Then, while the leading Brahmins were reciting the Vedas and the singers were singing, all the instruments were playing and the dancers dancing, he worshipped the image of Ganesha with mantras from the Vedas and the Puranas. The 16 ritual practices and the 5 immortal substances, having placed before it a food offering consisting of the 5 substances and milk prepared with ground sugar, laddukas, 4 cakes, modakas, splendid with many sauces and fragrant water. The king presented for Gajanana's complete satisfaction the fruit, betel nut, an honorarium of jewels and gold, durva grass, a mantra, and many handfuls of flowers. Then to the moon, the Ganganatha, and the day he gave water for the reception. He respectfully honored the Brahmins, fed them, and then gave them honorariums of a myriad of cows, ornaments, and clothes. Then the king himself ate, as did his relatives and friends. And in the night he kept a watch to the accompaniment of songs, music, and storytelling. After the king had bathed again in the clear light of morning and worshipped the image of Gananatha, as previously, he gave Vasista implements for worship as an honorarium. Gajanana was satisfied with that and dispatched a flying vehicle radiating absolute splendor. Then the messengers placed him his real appearance, that of Ganesha, on it, and this brought immediate joy to all the people who were watching. The king was moved to the world of the gods due to the power of his merit, and the messengers of God, who also had Ganesha's real appearance, their heads crowned with the diadems and adorned with many ornaments, said to him, Vinayaka was satisfied, and so he sent this flying vehicle to you. Accordingly, we have eagerly come to see you. After hearing this speech, the protector of the earth wept, and his body stooped, his hairs bristling. He spoke in a stammering voice while quite blushing. King Shurasena said to them, There is no reason why I should see him who is beyond the sphere of thought and speech, who is the ruler of universe, permanent, incomparable, and unmanifest. The Vedas and the Shastras are unable to describe him. Yet the hosts of deities led by Shiva and Brahma constantly recollect him. If he has recollected me, O messengers, then I have really experienced a good fortune. Because in the meanwhile, the messengers who came from the Ganesha Loka, they told the king that Ganesha is eager to see him. So, in response to that, the king was wondering that he had just performed only the Sankasta Chaturthi vratha for 1 day and was wondering why Ganesha is eager to see him. After the messengers heard about what the king is saying, then they replied back to him, We do not know, O king, how the power of devotees can make Ganesha happy, and who has neither characteristic nor form, and he assumes the form for the sake of his devotees, and we do not know by what act of his devotees Gajanana will be pleased. So it all depends upon, it is not just about performing the puja, it is not just about performing all the rituals, it is about the bhava and the bhakti that the one is having. If the one is having such a deep devotion and a deep trust towards the Gajanana that would make him pleased with their offering, and he invite them to his loka. Then the king said, I have one great desire. Given that the god and you are satisfied, how can I go to Gajanana while leaving the people of the city behind? They and I ate nothing except for hala hala poison. So how could I possibly enjoy the highest bliss without them, O faultless messengers? Because the people as well as the king, they would have suffered a lot in the past. That is what he is mentioning it as. We all together drank only the hala hala poison together. But now when the bliss of going to the Ganesha Loka has been bestowed on me, how can I simply go myself, leaving all my citizens behind? Such is the greatness of a love of a king towards his subjects. Once again, the messengers addressed him, Your wish will be fulfilled. If not, Gajanana will angrily strike all of us. Because you are a devotee of Gajanana, quite naturally, since Gajanana is pleased at you, we are supposed to follow your words as though it is a command. If you desire to take all your city people along with you to the Ganesha Loka, we need to honor it. They agreed to bring every person onto the flying vehicle. All creatures came who are intelligent and born with hands were placed there. O Brahmin, all of them were clad in a celestial manner with celestial garments and ornaments. They all said to each other, What is this great wonder? How could we have made it to such an auspicious flying vehicle? And others said, If it is here, because we are here mainly because of the strength of our king's merit. Just as the power of wealth might make gold out of a base metal, just as an excessively evil person might attain perfection through the words of the good, so have we all been uplifted by the king's merit. Then these messengers of Vinayaka constructed a heavenly pathway, but the flying vehicle had become still and did not rise up from the earth. It got stuck to the earth. Utter skepticism resulted from this, and the people said to one another, How will it go to heaven? From whom comes this receptacle of ill luck? So, why the vehicle got stuck to the earth? Why it is not able to fly? Could it ascend on a huge begging bowl cord? Some of them looked around everywhere, and then that leper, that evil person, because of whose glance earlier the Indra's vehicle dropped down to the earth. So someone noticed that he was also sitting among the people in that vehicle. So one of them said to the king, Send that person, evil person, away. Then he has got off this vehicle. Once he got off this vehicle will be able to, he will be able to float and reach the Ganesha's heaven. To those messengers who were seeking to banish him, Shurasena then said, I have given up evil conduct. Everyone must be brought. Because you like me and witness everything, perhaps you could kindly tell me about his life, his previous evil, and also the remedy for it. He may be a leper in the present life, but why he has become so? It must be because of some karma from his previous life. So, what bad thing did he do in his previous life? Is there any remedy for it? So, with that, then we also take him to the Ganesha Loka. Such is the compassion of the king towards his subject. The messengers then said, Don't worry, O king. We will tell you about this leper's depraved activity, his life, and the remedy for his evil. Thus ends the 76th chapter of Upasana Khanda of the glorious Ganesha Purana. And in this particular chapter, we have seen King Shurasena, by the grace of sage Vasista, had found a most auspicious day to perform the Sankasta Chaturthi vratha. He suggested him to do it on the Magha Krishnapaksha Chathurthi, the and on that day, he performed the Sankasta Chaturthi Vrata with great devotion. And the pleased Gajanana had sent him his varial vehicle and ordered his messengers to bring him to the Ganesha Loka. But then, when the vehicle arrived, the king became compassionate towards his subject and told the messengers that I had suffered, anything that I had suffered or enjoyed, I did it along with my subjects. Now we all together drank the hala hala poison of which is known as this life, the worldly life. And now, when there is a bliss, when Gajanana himself invited me, this invitation need to be extended to all my subjects. Then the messengers were pleased at that, and they allowed all vehicle to all people to board the vehicle. But then the vehicle could not able to float, and someone noticed that the evil person whose glance had brought down the vehicle of Indra was also sitting among the people. And then they all shouted to throw him out of the vehicle. But then the compassionate king told them, "No, I would like to take him also to the Ganesha Loka and ask a remedy for all evil act of that person." Namaste Sharada Devi Kashmir Puravasini Twamaham Prarthaye Nityam Vidyadanancha Dehime. Goodbye.